Dude, don't worry about it, man. I totally got you a date for homecoming. We can like double, dude. Thanks, Brody. You're a lifesaver. Say, if you don't mind, can I ask what this girl looks like? You are gonna love her, dude. She's got a great personality. Well, sure, but what does she look like? Well, do you remember that movie Aliens? She kind of looks like the chick from that. Oh, she looks like Ripley? I gotta admit, I've always had a thing for Sigourney Weaver. Well, not that chick. Oh, so like Vasquez? Well, I guess that's okay. Not that chick either, dude. You don't mean she looks like Newt. I mean, Brody, she's supposed to be my homecoming date, not some sort of babysitting scheme. No, not Newt, dude. I wouldn't totally scam you into babysitting. I'm even hurt that you would suggest that, man. Okay, so which girl from Aliens does she look like? The Queen. Wait, what? Don't sweat it, dude. She has an amazing personality, dude. What's up, Internet? Jay here with Nerd Rage Against the Machine, and today we're going to be talking about Teenagers from Outer Space, the role-playing game. This is a role-playing game that I have had in one edition or another for as long as I've been gaming, really. It's probably like in the first 10 RPGs I purchased as a teenager. Funny, Teenagers from Outer Space. Started as a teenager. It's by R.Talsorian Games and by Mike Pondsmith. It is a wacky RPG based heavily on the high concept of playing a high school student during an alien invasion. Only it's not a violent invasion. This isn't V. This isn't Independence Day. This is aliens coming to party. Think more La Marusiet Sura or Ranma 1/2. Ben Dunn's Ninja High School is a lot of the influence here. There was an old cartoon on Saturday mornings called Galaxy High. That's a good influence. And a lot of 80s teen movies in general are also on display here. The game is very simple, it is very easy to learn, and it is a ton of fun. So let's start our deep dive in this game with character creation. Character creation is very simple. You start as playing a high schooler, so you're either a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior. Once you've got that figured out, the next thing really is to figure out your race. There are 4 classifications of races. As you can tell, this is not a thick volume, so there's not like a lot of sci-fi RPGs have, Traveler had the Aslan and the Vargur, Star Frontiers had the Yazarians and the Dralicites. None of that. Instead, what we've got is classification. So you either are a human, which you or me, more or less. You could make comments of whether I'm human or not. That's on you. This is YouTube after all, so I expect it. But then the next classification would be near human. These are people like Mr. Spock or, any alien where there's just a little bit of a change that's not perfect. If you could put up a hoodie and call yourself human, hide the cat ears, hide the tail, that kind of thing, then you're a near human. The next level is not very near human. These are where it's going to take some doing to really, make you not look human, or make you look human. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Alf, Jawas, Klingons, where, it's going to require some serious makeup, and most people are not going to believe that you're not human, or that you are human. Then the last level is a real weirdie. These are the snowball's chance in a blast furnace of being caught as human. Things like the Horta, Cthulhu, centaurs, sentient versions of the color blue, that kind of thing where you're just completely... Kang and Kodos would be another good example. Once you've figured out what species you are, and really at that point, the one thing about this alien creation is that you are building your own alien. So, you can say I'm near human and give a couple features. Or you can go real weird and be like, I look like a pink Cthulhu with bunny ears. Cool. That's your character's look now. From there, your stats, which the stats in this system are very simple. There's only there's 8 of them. It is smarts, bod, RWP, which is relationship with parents, luck, driving, looks, cool, and bonk. Bonk is your hit points. For each stat, you're going to roll a d6. Now, this is where the comedy happens. It is a d6, so you're going to have a pretty wide variety here. If you have a super high stat or super low stat, that's pretty much fodder for comedy. An example would be if you have a 6 in looks, every sentient wants you. It's just kind of the way that's going to play out. Same with smarts. If you're a 6, everyone is going to come to you to cheat off your homework. And reverse. If you have a 1, you're going to be the braying moron. And if you have a 1 looks, you couldn't get laid in a women's prison, as they say. Once you've got your stats, you roll a d6 for knacks. Knacks can be anything as long as they're somewhat specific, such as look cool in shades, shopping, fire blaster. You get to make them up. There is a list in the book of suggestions, but you can kind of make them up as you wish as long as the GM is cool with them. Then from there, you roll for powers. If you're a human, you roll 2d6 and consult a chart which has a few oddball powers. These are things like filthy rich or social powers more than anything. There's one called Lose It, where if you get down to 1 bonk, you double your stats and go cray-cray for a little bit because, you've just had it. Game over, man. Other than that, for the aliens, you choose 3 of the 5 charts. Each edition added a new chart. So first edition is only 3 charts, so you just roll on each chart. Second edition came with 4 charts, so you choose 3 of the charts and roll. And then with third edition, they added 5 charts. So each one, you just choose 3 of those charts and you roll and get the powers on them. And the powers are wacky stuff: flight, teleport, zap, boy, girl, boy, where you can change your gender at will. All sorts of fun powers that you can throw into the game. Once you have your powers, your knacks, and your skills, you're pretty much set except for an allowance and some basic starting gear. Gear in this game is pretty wacky, as to be expected. It is what it is. You start with a car, but it is a POS. It is, in fact, one of the games I ran, the players were having problems with their piece of junk car, opened the hood, and they found a hamster wheel in there, and 2 mice, one of which going, "Gee, Brian, what are we going to do tomorrow night?" The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Trying to take over the world. And then they ran off, and they had to figure out what they were going to do to fix their car. That's the kind of humor that this game is kind of known for. It is, once you have your stuff, though, you're pretty much ready, and you have your character done. It's time to move on to play. Teenagers from Outer Space uses a variation of R.Talsorian's interlock system, which is the same system they use for Mechton, Cyberpunk. Now, saying that, it is heavily modified, much like, say, Ghostbusters is to Star Wars D6. You're not going to be looking up ranges. You're not going to have to worry about body armor or initiative runs, really. This is a very simple game. Everything is on a D6. In fact, the first edition came with 2 micro D6 in a baggie in the back page of the book, which was pretty cool. But simply, it's skill or stat plus any applicable knack plus a D6. Versus either the GM's target number or an opponent doing the exact same thing. That's really all there is to task resolution. Again, if you take damage, you take bonk. This game is non-lethal, so you cannot die. Once you hit 0 bonk, your character basically does a Wile E. Coyote kind of death, i.e., or death, if you will. If you fall off of a building, you accordion out of the room. If you get hit by a wrecking ball, then you splatter and are flat for a little while. Those kind of things. You do come back, and it's depending upon how much negative bonk is how many rounds you're effectively out of game. From there are other fun rules to make the game interesting. One of the probably most notorious examples is what they call the PG-13 rule. As you're playing teenagers, and let's be fair, hormones run amok when you play teenagers. The idea of getting with a girl, getting with a guy, getting with another sentient is going to be there. So to keep the game in a PG-13 setting, there's an official rule in the book that anytime that things start to get too hot, something will interrupt you. I had this happen in a game once to me. I was playing a human character, and I was with a girl, 7 minutes in heaven in the closet. She started to undo her blouse, and all of a sudden, in beams Kirk and Spock. Spock, what's going on here? What is this? It appears to be a human copulation ceremony of some kind, Captain. Highly illogical. Next thing I know, Kirk's trying to teach my girlfriend what is a kiss, and I want to kill the dude! But that's kind of where this game goes, and what makes the game a lot of fun. Plots are simple. There are plenty of easy plots to run through the game that come with the book, at least, starter scenarios, basic stuff. And therefore, this can be a lot of fun. As far as the world goes, like I said, it's pretty much what you expect. It's modern-day Earth. I tend to set mine in the 80s, but that's me. You can set it modern day. The third edition also suggested the idea of setting the game in Japan to make it more anime. In fact, they put the Animechanics logo on the back of the book to kind of promote this as a more of an anime game, and they started more anime-style covers. Well, at least in the second edition. The first had a pretty anime cover, too. But anyway, the idea being you're playing modern day with these aliens, there. You can have, any one of 1,000 sci-fi tropes happen. Jokes from Red Dwarf, jokes from Star Trek, and of course, the typical high school, Ferris Bueller's Day Off meets Babylon 5 is totally doable here. That's kind of the whole point of this game. It's a lot of fun, though, because of that, and there are some other things that you have to consider, of course, such as there's a group called the Alien Control Office. These are your men in black who have now kind of furloughed into... They're there to keep aliens in line. All humans also have an ability called human fake-out, which means basically you're the local, so you know the local customs, so aliens will trust you until you break that trust. So yes, you can tell an alien that mooning the entire class is a sign of respect, and then watch him do it and laugh your ass off until, of course, they realize that you got them. In summary, this game is very cool. I would say it's a 5 out of 5. It is easy, it is fun, and it's great for a great late night. Comedy role-playing can be a little tough, but the big thing is just remembering as players that your characters live this in a serious way. This is their lives. As long as you're playing serious in a comedic world, it's going to work out pretty well. Don't try to just go all over the place. And you'll really have a great experience with this game, I think. It's, again, not expensive. I think it's $20 for the new edition. It can't be more than 30. It's available on drive-thru as well as through R.Talsorian's website. Again, 5 out of 5 stars. Highly recommended. And with that, I say adieu. Thank you for watching, and like, share, subscribe, do the monkey with me. Anything else you got to do. In the meantime, adieu.